free wells this year by drilling more efficiently. So that's the real goal, and it's definitely worth doing. It accelerates the project, but it also adds a lot of value to the company. So this is basically what we're planning this year for exploration. All of these dots are exploration wells that are on the budget. As I said, I think there's going to be there are appraisal wells associated as well that we'll talk about. But there is a chance to add more. I think if we can keep drilling efficiently and keep drilling at the pace we're drilling, I think there's a good chance we can add another 5 to 7 wells onto the exploration list. So again, most of them are concentrated in the Lokichar Basin, where we're going to be drilling out kind of the easiest ones left. We've already drilled Amasing, made a discovery. We've already drilled Ewoyan, made a discovery. But then we're going to be stepping out into the new basins. The Sala well is drilling now. It's actually dancing right on top of the main objective now. So I think in a matter of 2-3 weeks, we'll be able to see the results of that well. Shamila, the first well, and what we think is probably the most prospective basin we've got left, will spud next week. So we'll start seeing some results of that probably within the next 30 days. It will just stay up here. It will certainly drill Gardein, but I think it's very likely that we'll get maybe a third or maybe even a fourth exploration well up there in that basin this year. And it'll just stay there as long as we see encouragement. We're also going to drill the first one up here in the Turkana Basin. We're actually going to drill 2 wells this year, but the Kiboko is going to be the first one. We've selected that as our first target. And we'll go through these in a little bit more detail. Then the other one that kind of flies under the radar, but again, we're quite excited about is the Kerio Basin. So this is really, I would call it a sister basin to the Lokichar Basin. It's right next to it. It looks very geologically similar. It should be the same age, same type of source rocks, reservoirs. And we've got 2 wells planted here that both look quite compelling. So again, the focus is going to be in Lokichar Basin, where we've had our success. We've now drilled these 5 string of pearl wells, all successful. We're doing an appraisal well updip into a separate fault block called Imam. We're drilling our first development well here at Twiga 2, which is updip from the Twiga discovery. We will be drilling the Agete appraisal. We'll be drilling at least 2 wells at Gamia to appraise. And we've just added another appraisal well at Amasing. Amasing is looking really good. It's probably the best reservoir we've seen as far as thickness and quality. And it may kind of move into the number 2 position, or maybe even the number 1 position. So the rig that's drilling at Twiga now, when it's done at Twiga, it's going to move down and it's going to do a down dip Amasing well. Just because we basically think that is maybe going to be where our extended well test is going to be. Right now, the Twiga, Gamia, or Amasing is where we're going to try to drill at least 3 appraisal wells and do some extended well tests. What we want to do with the extended well tests is 3 things. We want to see the continuity of the reservoir over the field. We want to put it on production for a longer period of time and see how it develops. But we also want to see what we call interference testing. So we will go and produce 1 well and see if we can see the effects of another well. That gives us a good idea how interconnected these reservoirs are. And then the final thing is we'll inject water into these reservoirs to see how well they take injectivity, which is important for water flow. But also we'll see the effect of that hopefully as our monitoring well as well. So I think once we get the extended well test, people ask us why our numbers are different than Tullow's. Our numbers are almost double what Tullow's are. When we talk about prospect size, when we talk about field size. And the reason is recovery factor, almost exclusively. We don't have a big difference in area, thickness, saturations, all of the things that go into modeling. What we do have a difference is recovery factor. And we're assuming that water flow is going to work. Tullow is not assuming that it is in their base case. They actually believe it is, but they're sort of need to prove it to themselves. Once they've done these tests on the experimental well test, they will come over that barrier, we believe, and basically up their volumes to be more like ours. Our volumes are actually not our internal volumes, they're our third-party volumes. So Gaffney Klein, which is a very well-respected reserve auditor, the same ones that do Lundin Petroleum, known to be conservative, are the ones that come up with our recovery factors. So we feel pretty confident that we're not overestimating. And then on the other side of the basin, we will be drilling the Kunyak. That will be one of in fact, the rig now that's is Uniac is one we're going to accelerate. We'll talk a little bit about this side of the basin. This side of the basin is probably going to have more oil in place than this side of the basin, but the reservoirs are going to be a little more challenging. So the best reservoirs are the Aurora sands, and they are going to be the focus of the early development. But these reservoirs here could end up being just as important. We may have to drill horizontal wells to produce them. We may even have to do fracking to produce them. But I think we're quite excited that everything over here seems to be filled with oil. And these structures are generally 3 to 5 times the size of the structures on the other side of the basin. So, as far as what we're going to drill next in the exploration side, the biggest thing we're going to drill is this Eton complex. So we've proven oil here, we've proven oil here, we've proven oil here. This is the next one up in the string of pearls. But it's broken up into 3 fault blocks here, and then there's a whole other series of prospects that look interesting if this is proven. The biggest risk of these northern ones is the oil is generated down here. Can it make it all the way up into these prospects? We think it can, but obviously as we find oil here, as we find the next one is probably going to be this guy here, Eton North. As we find oil here and here, it gives us a lot of confidence that those are going to be filled. So we do, these are our reserve auditors' chance of success, 20 to 25% generally as you move up here, and it's because of this long distance migration. Once we start proving reserves up here, these success rates will go up and up. Again, nice looking prospect. The basin boundary fault well defined, good rollover, good bright spots indicating hydrocarbons, and we're preparing the base for this, the location for that right now. So it'll be spud sometime in the second quarter. Again, on the other side of the basin, we are excited about our prospects here. I have said the reservoirs are not as good. The lower reservoirs are the Lacone Shale sands, the sand within the Lacone Shale, but also the Lacone sands themselves. They're generally about 13 to 15% porosity. They're generally 50 millidarcies permeability or less, so they're not as good as the Aurora, but they do test in hundreds of barrels a day. And the Aurora isn't, we were not discounting the Aurora. Right now we're drilling the Etuco 2 well, which is basically a step out of the Etuco 1. We just skidded the rig over, and we're just testing the Aurora and the Etuco 2 well right now. So as far as results of all these wells in the, I'll just quickly talk about this. We had a lot of reservoir concerns when we first started this, but these are all the Aurora core data points. And this is really good reservoir here. This point here is 13 darcies of permeability. This is kind of like Johann Schwerter type reservoir. This is a picture of the core. You can actually